signs and flyers went up all over. Friends and family urging everyone to keep an eye out for the University of Toledo student.
And we begin tonight with breaking news out of Fulton County. The jury has reached a verdict in the murder case of Sierra Joggin. I'm Christian Brown in for Lee Conklin.
And I'm Diane Larson. James Worley has been found guilty on all the counts against him. That includes abduction, kidnapping, felonious assault, murder, and aggravated murder.
Have you ever gone for a short bike ride around the area on a summer afternoon? For many people, it's a normal, healthy, and harmless activity that makes their lives better. But for 20-year-old Sierra Joggin, it ended up causing her death. This is the case of Sierra Joggin. Welcome back to True Murder Cases. We send our condolences to her friends and family and truly hope cases like this will never happen again. It was July 19, 2016, the day on which Josh saw his beloved Sierra for the very last time. When Josh returned home after a refreshing bike ride, Sierra decided to continue cycling alone to her parents who lived a few kilometers away, but the young student never arrived there. Firstly, let's find out more about Sierra Joggin. Sierra Catherine Joggin was born on February 11, 1996 in Sylvania, Ohio. Her parents, Tom Joggin and Sheila Vakulik, gave her the nickname Shay, which her family and friends also used. She was the eldest of 5 siblings and a business student at the University of Toledo. She was a beautiful girl, pale, milky skin, sun-kissed hair that fell across her narrow shoulders in perfect form and a bright, unassuming smile that most would envy. One of her classmates described her as one of the most kind-hearted and nicest people I knew. Sierra was full of positivity and confidence. Her presence brightened the lives of those around her. She had a way of making people feel good and comfortable. She was confident in herself, and this made others feel good about themselves too. Sierra really loved her boyfriend, Josh Kolasinski, for 7 whole years. She was really looking forward to spending the summer with him before starting her junior year. Sadly, the 20-year-old wouldn't live to see graduation. On that fateful day of the homicide, during the warm and humid summer evening of July the 19th, 2016, the atmosphere was sultry and serene. It seemed like an ordinary day, much like any other. Sierra purchased a bicycle at a garage sale and rushed to Josh's house 7 miles away. After spending some time together, she decided to head home and Josh biked alongside her to make sure she was safe. At 6:43 p.m., Josh snapped a selfie and posted it on Snapchat. At the halfway mark, the couple said their goodbyes. Josh turned back and headed home. Tragically, it marked not only the final photo ever taken of Sierra, but also the day when Josh laid eyes on his beloved Sierra for the very last time. A couple of minutes later, a 57-year-old drug dealer rode by on his motorcycle. When he saw Sierra, he stopped, dismounted, and waited for her to pass him. When she did, he swung his helmet and smacked her in the face. On the same day, at 9:30 in the evening, Sierra's mom Sheila went to her grandparents' house where Sierra now stays. Sheila noticed something different. Sierra's bedroom light was off, which wasn't normal. Sheila guessed that Sierra might be with Josh. Sheila wasn't too concerned at first because Sierra and Josh had a good relationship. Sierra also had a strong connection with her family and siblings, so if she was planning to stay out, she would let them know. However, as more time passed, Sheila started to feel more anxious about where Sierra could be. At 10:30 p.m., Josh called Sierra's mother Sheila and asked where she was. He explained how he had been trying really hard to get in touch with Sierra, but it was like his messages just disappeared, lost somewhere without a trace. And when he called her, all he got was her voicemail over and over again, like an unsettling echo of emptiness. It was a parent's absolute nightmare. Sheila and her husband Tom hurried to their car and searched everywhere they could imagine, but Sierra was nowhere in sight. Filled with fear, they dialed 911 and urgently reported her as missing. Who was the potential suspect? Was it Josh? While this was happening, almost immediately the lives of Sierra's close family and friends were turned completely upside down. Sierra started dating Josh Kolasinski in high school. Sierra and Josh met when they were children and became best friends. They stayed together even though the two went to different colleges. This is how Josh described his relationship. "We were the couple that we were always together. If there was Josh, then there was always Sierra." In fact, right before her tragic passing, the couple was talking about marriage and even looking at rings. Josh had seen Sierra for the last time around 6:45 in the evening, He told her he would talk to her later, but when he messaged her after reaching home, he didn't get a reply, which he told the police. At this stage, Josh's story was adding up. Around 16 hours into the inquiry, Josh reported to law enforcement that he had witnessed a conspicuously large white van in the vicinity of Sarah's last known whereabouts. The van moved at a leisurely pace, but whenever Josh approached on his bicycle, it would accelerate, eluding his grasp. Josh managed to recall a portion of the license plate number, which he shared with authorities. They managed to trace the plate back to a woman owner. During questioning, the woman asserted that she suspected someone, potentially Josh, was trying to force her off the road. The police conducted a thorough search of the van and employed luminol, a chemical agent that reveals historical blood presence under ultraviolet light, in their quest for any possible bloodstains. Ultimately, it was determined that the woman and her van were not linked to the incident. The lead involving the van ultimately proved to be a dead-end avenue of investigation. Police began tracing Sierra's phone and Fitbit watch upon seeing her wear one in Josh's Snapchat video. Authorities searched Country Road 6 and nearby surroundings, where Sierra was last spotted by Josh. At midnight, the authorities made a startling discovery. 2 officers were searching for Sierra near her home when they drove by a cornfield and noticed that some of the stalks had been knocked down. As they walked into the cornfield, they stumbled upon a fuse box, 2 pairs of sunglasses, a screwdriver, a green sock, and the blue bicycle, the same one Sierra had been so excited to use for the first time. It was covered in blood. Although Sierra couldn't be located, authorities inferred a potential struggle due to the disturbance, presence of blood, and abandoned items. Officers handed out missing flyers, conducted traffic stops, and went door to door asking for information. Could Sierra be nearby and potentially still be alive? Neighbors could get $25,000 to $100,000 for helping find Sierra safely. The police knew they had to act quickly. Police searched more places and talked to local people. The puzzling case of Sierra's vanishing made them think she might have been taken against her will. As they dug deeper into the investigation, the community anxiously waited to find out the unsettling truth behind this scary mystery. Not long after, local farmer Troy Vandenbush came forward with a tip. At 7 p.m. on the day Sierra vanished, Troy drove by the cornfield, unaware she was injured and bound inside. He spotted a motorcycle helmet on the road, which he took home. After hearing about the abduction, he gave it to the police. This revealed the abductor must have used a motorcycle, right? Since Josh had one, he was questioned and his home searched. However, he was soon cleared of suspicion. They were back to square one, but they wouldn't be for long. Investigators decided to knock on the door of every convicted felon in the area and quickly made their way to James Worley, who lived with his mother. James D. Worley was quite an interesting person. He was born on April 8, 1959 and went to Evergreen High School in Metamora. However, his academic performance wasn't great. He had a grade point average of 1.59, which is considered low. He attributed his poor grades to his involvement in using and selling marijuana since he was just 14 years old. He claimed to be addicted to this substance. James told the authorities that he knew the area they were searching because his motorcycle had broken down there earlier in the day. He explained that he had lost his fuses alongside with his sunglasses, screwdriver, and helmet. This raised serious concerns for the police officers who were questioning him. When they told James that a young woman was missing, he responded, "I'm not out here killing chicks, dude. I don't have relationships. I'm in fact trying to get one started online a little bit right now. And she's been out here, and guess what? She went home alive. I haven't killed anybody. I haven't raped anybody. Let's get that straight. If I were a psychopath, I'd have had your gun and shot you all." Of course, James was lying through his teeth. In his red Chevy were zip ties, ropes, duct tape, a ski mask, and pepper spray. His house was littered with boxes of adult diapers, and in the back of the property were 2 barns. Inside one barn was a motorcycle. The other was filled with bales of hay that hid a secret torture room, a mattress, and a green bin of women's clothing and lingerie. All were brand new except for a pair of blood-stained panties. When investigators removed a piece of wood covering a hole in the ground, they discovered a freezer. They braced themselves and slowly opened the door to find nothing. It was lined with carpet covered in blood and empty. James once told a court-mandated therapist that he learned from each abduction he committed and that he was going to bury the next one. In July 1990, James was convicted of attempted kidnapping when he hit a 26-year-old bicyclist with his truck, held a screwdriver to her throat, and forced her into his vehicle. Luckily, she managed to escape. James was sentenced to 4 to 10 years in prison but served only 3. This kidnapping incident left Robin with a fractured skull, wounds, bruises, and a concussion. Her subsequent lifestyle was also altered by it following her ordeal. Robin stated, "I can't go hiking, I can't go bird watching. He took that away from me." Exactly 26 years later, James abducted Sierra. Tragically, she would meet a much more horrific fate. Later on, July the 22nd, 3 days since Sierra was last seen, there was a disturbing breakthrough in the case. A farmer stumbled upon a disturbed patch of dirt on another cornfield and called the police. DNA was retrieved from James' helmet, the mattress, and the blood-stained panties. All matched Sierra. The key to a handcuff on her wrist was on James' keychain, and his phone location data placed him at the scene of the crime.
Positive identification will be made through either fingerprints or DNA, but at this time, we strongly believe that this is Sierra.
With a contagious smile. She was a loving person who has touched many people in her life.
She was found in a shallow grave. She was gagged, hogtied, and wearing a diaper. The cause of death was asphyxiation. He choked her to death. At this point, it was verified that there was no sign of an essay in the autopsy. James Worley was arrested and charged with aggravated murder, kidnapping, felonious assault, evidence tampering, possession of tools for criminal purposes, and carrying a firearm despite having a disqualifying condition. Prosecutors argued that James purchased lingerie online using his elderly mother's money. He dressed Sierra up and later forced her to wear a diaper. James ultimately put a yellow dog toy in her mouth, causing her to suffocate. James proclaimed his innocence at trial, insisting he had been framed. In court, it was stated, "There is no possibility that you are innocent." Grieving loved ones left the courtroom in tears when he turned around and said, "Don't ask me why she wasn't raped. She was a beautiful girl." "The pain is intolerable and the indescribable emptiness we experience," expressed Sierra's aunt following the trial. "I want Worley to remember that although he may have shattered us, as a family, our resilience surpasses his expectations. Nothing can shatter us. The love that Sierra bestowed upon us remains untouchable. I constantly ask myself why. Why couldn't she break free? Why wasn't she located sooner? If it's up to me, he will receive the death penalty," Sierra's mother concludes. After 6 hours of deliberation, the jury found James Worley guilty. They were deciding between the death penalty and life in prison without parole. James D. Worley will be put to death on May the 20th, 2025. Sierra planned for a career in human resources. She loved volleyball, visiting Italy, caring for horses, and spending time with her family and friends. After Sierra's death, her loved ones established Sierra Strong, a self-awareness and defense training program that empowers young women and children and teaches them how to survive dangerous situations. The training is provided in schools all over Ohio and will soon be taught in Michigan. In December 2018, Ohio passed Sierra's law, which resulted in a geographical database of violent offenders. The Joggins lived just miles from James's home, but were unaware of the dangers lurking nearby. Had the database existed then, Sierra might be 27 today. Perhaps she would be working her dream job or seeing the world. Or maybe she would be happily married with kids. Although Sierra didn't get the chance to fulfill her dreams, her legacy has since saved countless lives and made certain that she will not be forgotten. Through the tragedy, Josh tried to find purpose. He created a group called Keeping Our Girls Safe. He helps raise money to offer free self-defense classes for girls and women in the community. This is for her. I do it for her. And I just want to make sure it doesn't happen to anyone else. And if they see me, this puts a face to it and show that this can actually happen to someone. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe to True Murder Cases because that makes this video possible, and click on the left to see another one you might enjoy.